Well, as I wrote about in my newsletter this morning, and do go to hever.news, I'll put a link down below if you want to go and read today's edition. I think Boris Johnson and Liz Truss would have been better served calling snap elections rather than waiting for themselves to be ousted. And remember, if Boris does come back, there were a huge number of Conservative MPs who voted no confidence in Boris. It was about 148 MPs, I believe, who voted against Boris in that confidence vote. And of course, on the other side of things, there are a lot of Johnson loyalists who don't really like Rishi Sunak, that they face a split party, huge internal divisions, so are struggling to gain authority over the party and actually implement a cohesive agenda, which is why I think an election actually, and taking some leadership and fighting for your agenda and then trying to get that majority to then have that full authority over your premiership is the way that the next leader should go. And we know there's big public support now for a general election. But just to show you the division again within the Tory party, no matter who wins this leadership election really, the prospect of Boris Johnson coming back, just look at this from Jesse Norman, a Conservative MP, saying there are several very good potential candidates for Conservative leader, but choosing Boris now would be, he says, an absolutely catastrophic decision. And there's already been, as I said, a whole number of MPs speaking out, Conservative MPs speaking out against Boris Johnson coming back. You see there a Tory ex-minister speaking to the Telegraph saying, if that ego on sticks becomes leader of the Tory party, I will surrender the whip. You've also then had that if Boris Johnson stands and wins the leadership contest, the Tory MP there contacting Jessica Elgott saying, if this happens, I will immediately defect to the Labour Party. You then had another Conservative MP, John Barham, saying he would find it impossible to serve as a Conservative MP under Boris Johnson, and says he believes there could be more than a few backbenchers who would give up the party whip. So I know it seems unlikely and not necessarily in the interest of the next Conservative leader to call an election given where the polls are. But the fact is the party is now so split. Talks of people potentially defecting right at the start of this leadership election, that I think the only way to assert their authority is going to have to be win an election with their manifesto as the way to bring together a cohesive vision and party that can actually implement a Conservative agenda instead of just trying to cling on, as we saw Truss do, as we saw Boris do, and both got ousted. But let me know what you make of that prospect of defections, of Tory MPs leaving the party if Boris Johnson becomes PM. As ever, I'll keep bringing you the very latest, so please do whack this video a quick thumbs up, and of course, as ever, cheers for watching.